You know you slept good when you got the do-rag line. You got like 3 of them. You're like, damn. You see LeBron with the do-rag?
Or you had it somewhere.
Yeah.
Keep it tight on. You got to
Real talk. Oh, man. It's a wrap, bro. But my brother taught me you get a hot wash rag and you just pat it and you good.
And it come out quick?
Come out. Shock me. He light-skinned, so that's how he, that's
Jesus, to be black in America.
Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson. We hope that we gave you all the info you may need on visiting black barbershops in the United States of America. I'm Pierce Simpson. I'm joined here by Complex Sports editor, Mr. Adam Cavarell. Cap, how you feeling, brother?
Doing well. The education continues, so appreciate all the info.
Education definitely continues. We're going to get you a do-rag before it's all said and done. You know what I'm saying? You can match the whole John Elliott fit, get you a doobie, and you're good to go. Usually the person that's next to Mr. Adam Cavarell is Gilbert Arenas. He's interviewing for the New York Knicks head coaching job.
Yeah, along with Kenny Smith and a bunch of other awful candidates, so yes.
Which is absolutely untrue. He's not interviewing for that. Agent Zero had to do some international work, right?
He's a traveling man.
He is. He's pretty much an IG thotty at this point. So we have Gilbert Arenas right here in spirit. A little quieter than usual, right?
Yeah, a little different, but we're gonna make it work.
We'll make it work. Cap, keeping things in line with the NBA playoffs, it seems like LeBron James has silenced a lot of critics that kind of questioned the Cavaliers after their Game 1 loss to the Indiana Pacers. LeBron beasted last night, scoring the first 13 points of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He ended up with 46 points, 17 for 24 shooting from the field, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Kevin Love potentially re-broke his hand, which is a concern. They'll update the injury as more news comes out. What do we make of the Cavaliers' 3-point victory despite LeBron James scoring 46 points and coming out red hot?
I make that LeBron's a man of his word because Ty Lue said you have to be aggressive and really set the tone in the first quarter. Yeah. He did that. He blitzed the Pacers in the first quarter, so props to LeBron for that. I also make that the Cavs actually played some defense down the stretch. Yeah. They had some defensive stops that were impressive, and they kind of put the screws to the Pacers in some key spots and actually, again, played shockingly good defense in the fourth quarter. The third thing I make of this is that LeBron supporting cast blows. He did everything for them. And again, no help. Kevin Love maybe broke his hand again, so he may be limited going forward. We're going to find out what the injury is like, in the coming days. But him getting hurt with the hand that he broke earlier this year, that's not a good sign. So, I take away LeBron great, Cavaliers D, good in spots. Sporting cast sucks.
He's got good, bad, and ugly.
Exactly,
right there.
yes.
LeBron scored 13 points, like I mentioned, before anybody else on the team got a bucket. He outscored the Indiana Pacers 20-18 in the first quarter. We'll see how the Cavaliers go, handle things going forward. It's like, series is 1-1.
Yeah, how do you? This team makes no sense this year.
It's an average team. It's a very average team. That's why they're 4 seed.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah, it's a very average team. Keeping things moving, the Utah Jazz beat the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, 102-95 to even up the series. OKC's big three combined for 54 points, and which is surprising. They had pretty good performance, but only shot 33% from the field. Rookie of the Year contender Donovan Mitchell led all scorers with 28 points. But the big story is your boy Russell Westbrook's outfit that he wore to the game. We're going to decide whether or not this is a fire fit. Well, how many flames are you giving this?
I'm going to give this 5. I think this is immaculately tailored. And also, props to Russell for putting a shirt on, all right? He actually put a shirt on for this game.
So you like that fit?
Yeah, it's better than going shirtless.
He looks like a waiter somewhere.
No, he looks immaculate. It's job well done.
With the Mickey Mouse slippers at the bottom?
I'm fine with that.
You're fine. Of all people are fine with Mickey Mouse slippers.
I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with a suit and no shirt. And buttoned up twice. 2 buttons buttoned. No.
It's like Omar said in The Wire, a man has to have a code, and
exactly,
that's the code.
That's the code. There's a certain code you need to follow, okay? Wear a shirt with a suit and don't button both buttons.
So you're cool with Mickey Mouse slippers?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You learned something.
Did you see the slippers Gilbert had on the other day? The camo ones? So I'm giving Russ 5 fire emojis for that fit.
I definitely saw Gilbert slippers the other day. You got to cover up them claws and toes. I'm giving 1.
Oh, that's a hand wave right there. How do you give 1 for that fit?
He's wearing that's a tuxedo. It's prom.
He looks immaculate. That's like the alternative black tux done to the nth degree. That is well done.
Wear a black tux. Don't wear that. Maybe if the shoes are better.
That's a swerve. That's why.
Maybe the shoes are better. I give him some love. But Mickey's okay. Moving on to the last game of last night, the Houston Rockets dominated the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 2 to take a 2-0 lead before the series heads up to Minnesota. Karl-Anthony Towns played only 5 minutes in the second half and finished with 5 points on 2 for 9 shooting. He has a total of 13 points in 2 playoff games. Mind you, a lot of people consider Karl-Anthony Towns to be Minnesota's best scorer. He's in line for a max contract. People rank him with the Anthony Davises, the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world. What do we make of his poor performance so far in the Houston Rockets?
Well, we know he's a defensive liability,
Yeah.
and in game one, Tibbs mostly had him on the perimeter, kind of limiting some of his, options and ability to get into the fold. So, you wonder, like, is this?
Do you
Tibbs?
Do you chalk his poor performance up to nerves? Because the Inside the NBA crew pointed to him misreading matchups and not taking guys like Chris Paul into the post when he's on pick and roll and things get switched. What's going on with Cat?
See, of the two younger guys in that team that you would think would have nerves, you would think it'd be Wiggins.
Exactly.
I feel that Cat is more poised and just, a better overall product of a player right now. So it's very shocking that he's been this piss poor through 2 games. And again, maybe this is Tibbs just sending him a message like, youngin', you're not ready for this, and you gotta you just sit down and take your lumps right now and deal with this embarrassment. I don't know how you fix this. We know that Cat, again, is a poor defender. Yeah. But for them to have any chance, he played like garbage in the first game. They almost won.
Yeah.
Jimmy also played like garbage in the first game and they almost won. So, but this is a completely different game, completely different blowout. I don't have an answer for you. It's just like I don't know what you do with Cat right now, other than just throw him out there and just try and make it work. And maybe the home crowd spurs him on to give him more encouragement, blah blah blah. Like maybe it's a little bit of the young ego kind of getting at him right now, and he feels hurt. But that is an atrocious first 2 games in your postseason career.
Of course, especially coming off a quality performance against the Denver Nuggets to even get into the postseason in the playoff in the first place. That was pretty much a playing game. Tonight's game, slate of matchups, NBA playoffs in full swing. Game 2 of the series between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat saw vintage D. Wade pretty much go off. His performance was impressive. He scored 28 points, 11 for 16 shooting, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals at 36 years of age. And he had some trash talk for Kevin Hart, who was in attendance. Another great thing about that video is if you look next to Kevin Hart, there's Allen Iverson, who's mouthing, "You a bad motherfucker. You a bad motherfucker," which is impressive to see that respect given to Dwyane Wade. Kevin Hart went back and forth with Dwyane Wade on Twitter. Kevin was saying, "See you in Miami," and Dwyane Wade responded with, "You can't come to Miami," with the ring emoji. Kevin Hart will attend Game 3, allegedly in Miami.
The second most annoying fan in the NBA right now.
Wow, you're going to go behind Drake.
I'm going to go with that.
I'm going to go with. Okay.
Also, just to interrupt for one quick second, I think the greatest honor in basketball today might be Allen Iverson saying, "You're a bad motherfucker." I would think that'd be number 1, the number 2 would be Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's incredible for the fact that he has enough respect to disregard his loyalty to the Philadelphia 76ers and give nothing but respect to Dwyane Wade after he hit a clutch basket.
That should be on your tombstone, that Allen Iverson said, "You're a bad motherfucker." It
was impressive. Do we think Dwyane Wade can sustain this level of play tonight for the Miami Heat as they return to Miami for Game 3?
No. Okay,
That's how you feel it.
So Gab Union greeted him, like royalty when he came back to Miami. He had the game of his life. I mean, I think at one point he outscored the Sixers by, I think 21-20 over a 15-minute period in the first half. So D. Wade turned back the clock at 36. I have a tough time believing, he's going to be able to come back and do what he did. Right. Yeah, it's the home crowd. He'd be jazzed up a little bit coming off the big performance. But I'm leaning towards the more talented team that across the board has superior athletes and superior basketball players in theory. Yeah. They didn't play like that the other day, but I'm going to go back and pick the Sixers, even though the Heat are 1-point favorites heading into this Game 3.
The Philadelphia 76ers shot atrociously from the 3-point line. Joel Embiid is still officially listed as doubtful for Game 3.
Let Embiid play.
Let him play.
Take the training wheels off. I mean, I know we're supposed to trust the process and it's a long haul here, but in the grand scheme of things, his knee's not bothering him.
Right.
His back's not bothering him. There's no foot issues. He has a broken cheekbone that essentially he could play through. I don't get why the Sixers are babying him to this degree. And also, we have to. It's technically he's still kind of questionable for Game 3, not officially determined. But the fact that Embiid put that, whatever he put out, Snapchat, whatever the hell it was, Instagram, whatever the case was, the fact that he put that out probably tells you that the Sixers are going to put their foot down and not let him play. Certainly in Game 3, maybe even Game 4.
Do you think to prove
I think Embiid's that pissed off that he got the word from the organization early on saying you're not coming back,
you might not play the series.
You might not play the series, or you're not coming back for at least a few more games, and just the frustration. Which again, we want to see that. Keep tweeting, keep Instagramming, everything. We love it, Embiid, but real talk, just let him play. What are you guys holding him back for? You have a legit chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe just maybe pull off an upset over the Cavs or the Raptors, whatever the case is.
Listen, the East is wide open.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you holding back? He has a mask. He looks like Batman. Let him play. Let him do his thing. Take the training wheels off.
Definitely. An impressive game that happened earlier this week was the matchup between the Portland Trail Blazers and New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans surprisingly have a 2-0 series lead against the Portland Trail Blazers. Damian Lillard has played impressive this entire season, but he's been struggling in this playoff series. maybe going against two defensive stoppers, and Drew Holiday and Rajon Rondo have created problems for him. In game 1, he had 18 points, 16 for 23 shooting from the field, which is 26%, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Game 2, he followed that up with 17 points, only shooting 38% from the field, 35 points combined in the first 2 games. Will Dame Lillard bounce back with the Trailblazers visiting New Orleans?
I mean, you have to think so, right? I mean, it's like Dame time at some point has to come.
Well, we hope.
We hope, yeah. But I mean, 35 points in 2 games, shooting atrociously is kind of mind-boggling. You wouldn't expect that. But we talked about in the agreement a little bit with everybody here that maybe, just maybe, the Pelicans are just a bad matchup for the Blazers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the fact that, Drew Holiday and Rondo are just doing an excellent job on Lillard and McCollum that we just didn't see this coming.
Because you have Drew Holiday, who's in the running to be an all-NBA defensive team member, and then you have Rajon Rondo, who's been one of the best defenders throughout his entire career in the NBA, going against a very offensive-minded backcourt. They seem to shut them down. McCollum has been a little average this series as well. And then Nurkic has to deal with Anthony Davis in the post. So this is not an easy matchup for the Portland Trail.
But it's nuts that we're saying that Drew Holiday is by far and away the best guard in the series.
Yeah.
Because you're always, in your rankings of NBA players, you're going to put McCollum, you're going to put Dame Lillard certainly above. And you can you can battle about who's the better player, AD or Lillard. We're probably going to put AD up there. But, Drew Holiday right now is the best player in the series.
Well, remember to this offseason when there was questions about whether or not the New Orleans Pelicans should max out Drew Holiday. People didn't want that to happen, and he's been playing spectacular.
I mean, I thought the supporting cast was complete trash. Well, not complete trash, but that's a little aggressive. But not that good. And I thought that they would actually struggle to kind of make the playoffs when Boogie went down. I've been completely wrong. I think the biggest, I'll throw out one stat real quick that I saw that kind of jumped out at me. Drew Holiday's made 24 field goals in the first 2 games of the series. Combined, Lillard and McCollum, 29 field goals.
Wow.
I mean, that's nuts. Drew Holiday's balling the way he is, and McCollum and Lillard have been shut down.
Looking to the future, let's say DeMarcus Cousins comes back fully healthy for the New Orleans Pelicans. They have the same type of...
You think he's going back to New Orleans?
Listen,
I kind of think he was, but
the way that they're playing now...
Gilbert yesterday after the show said, no way in hell is he going back to New Orleans.
I think New Orleans has a stronger chance at re-signing DeMarcus Cousins than people are giving him.
It still offers him the most money.
They offer him the most money. They've been on the upward swing when they were playing together with him and Anthony Davis. Drew Holiday is playing well. The addition of Mirotic has been excellent for them. So,
but you're another team. You're going to offer DeMarcus as much money as possible, even when he's coming off an Achilles and he's not going to be healthy for 2 years.
If I'm a team like
you really want to do that,
or the Suns, I'm offering.
Well, if you're in desperate straits and you're one trash team like that, I get that. But at the same time, if you're DeMarcus is not going to go to the Mavericks or the Suns.
But the Lakers are going to offer him a max.
You think they would?
Absolutely. You don't.
I mean, I wonder if a team, on the up and up would maybe offer him a 2 or 3 year deal. And I could be completely wrong in this. I have no sources to back this up. This is just straight up speculation. But if I was a decent team or up and coming team, I would offer him a 2 or 3 year deal with some outs here and there, just in case he doesn't prove to be the player that he was. You're assuming he's going to get back, put all into the rehab, but I'd just be a little cautious.
Those Knicks moves are rubbing off on you, obviously, right now. That's what you sound like a Knicks executive right now.
I have PTSD.
The third and final playoff matchup of the night is the Golden State Warriors taking on the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs have been in the news for the Kawhi Leonard drama. The Warriors have blown out the Spurs twice in the Bay Area as they venture San Antonio for games 3 and 4. First game was 113-92, and the second game 116-101. But in more serious news, news broke yesterday that Gregg Popovich's wife of 40 years, Erin, passed away after dealing with a long illness. The NBA family has been passing their sympathies and condolences to Gregg Popovich and his family, and Out of Bounds does the same to Gregg Popovich's family and close friends at the passing of his wife, Erin Popovich. Do you think that this can be a galvanizing effect for the San Antonio Spurs, or do you think this is just too tough of a circumstance to overcome for the team, and we don't even know if Gregg Popovich will be coaching again?
Yeah, I mean, there's too many unknowns right now. We don't really have an accurate gauge of the temperature of the team. Yeah. I'll just stick to straight up basketball and kind of leave emotions out of it. Yeah. I don't see anything right now from the Spurs that indicates that they can win a game right now.
Yeah.
It's been that bad. And yes, you go home, and we've seen these series, plenty of times that, teams steal one game and kind of make it a little bit of a series or make it a mirage that they can actually compete. But what have we seen the first couple games that leads you any idea that they can legitimately make this into a 5 or 6 game series?
Well, they just don't have the horses to compete with the Golden State Warriors. LaMarcus Aldridge
Aldridge is balling out. He's been playing great, but do you actually believe they can get to a game 5?
No. Yeah. I think it's going to be a sweep because who's the San Antonio Spurs' second best player right now? Rudy Gay?
I mean, maybe DeJounte Murray. It's Manu kind of steps up. I mean, yes, can some guy step up and steal a win? Yeah, for sure. But I mean, on paper and what we've seen the first 2 games and also the regular season, I don't see any reason why this series should go 5.
For sure.
Like, just, the Warriors should end it.
Yeah. But again, like we said just previously, condolences.
Yes,
to Gregg Popovich
massive
and his
condolences.
family.
Yeah, and props to LeBron real quick for handling a tough situation. With TNT when he was asked. He had some poignant comments to make, and I think in a really tough situation showed his true colors. So all you LeBron haters, can we quiet the fuck down, please, tonight, and give the man his due for an awesome performance and also for handling a tough situation with amazing grace. Yep. So, all right, moving over to football world. Tom Brady hasn't committed to playing in 2018, but why are we making a big deal about this? Time for the step back. All right, so people around Tom Brady expect he will play next season, but so far the Pats QB hasn't fully committed to it yet. And this is all coming out of maybe the most absurd report in ESPN history, courtesy of Adam Schefter, who quoted a couple of unnamed sources who believe Tom Brady wants to play and will, but they also acknowledge that he's turning 41 in the summertime and may want to spend more time with his friends and family. So either he's playing or he's not playing. Any fucking asshole can confirm that.
Water is wet.
Okay, exactly. It's like the Pope is Catholic, the sky is blue. It's
Water
just like,
is wet.
This is ridiculous. So the one unnamed source said, quote, "My money would be on him playing football for the foreseeable future, but what goes on away from the football field, I don't know. End of quote. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just laughable. Again, offseason reporting has revealed some, cracks in the foundation between Brady, Gronkowski, and Bill Belichick. So this obviously adds a little fuel to the fire per se. But with all due respect to Adam Schefter, who breaks a ton of news and has an awesome pedigree and blah,
Go ahead and slander him.
We can.
Anytime somebody says all due respect,
all due respect to
something
that.
else is coming after.
How lame and ridiculous is this report from ESPN?
It struck me as somebody that had to do a favor to keep a connection and keep a source in place. But this whole thing is a constant power struggle between Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick. It's obvious that Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady seem to be on the same side because they have a great relationship with the controversial trainer, Alex Guerrero, who had access to the Patriots, and all of a sudden it was revoked. We saw the ESPN report early in the postseason about the dissension between Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady. For Gronk not to show up at the off-season program, for Tom Brady not to show up, and then allegedly having some type of passing camp with his receivers. This seems to be some type of pissing contest between everybody included. And I think Brady's trying to see what the direction of the franchise is. They've lost a lot of players. Nate Soldier, gone. Malcolm Butler, signed with Tennessee. Deion Lewis, gone. There's a lot of Brandon Cooks traded to the Rams. There's a lot of moving pieces.
But are you alluding to the idea that Brady could go play someplace else?
I'm alluding to the fact that Brady is trying to see what direction. Yeah, I might be saying that.
You actually see him playing someplace else?
No, the chances is like 1%. But there's some type of beef right now.
I think you make a good point that the talent level is kind of scary how much they've lost in this offseason.
They've lost a lot.
And, how they kind of piece it all together is going to remain to be seen because they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I think for this, for the overreaching story with Tom Brady playing or either not playing in 2018, kind of goes to the idea, like, do players owe teams a heads up of where they're at, or if they're thinking about,
Absolutely.
not playing. Absolutely. Because the NFL is ruthless with these guys, and you can get cut just like that for seemingly no reason.
I think Bill Simmons made a great point on his podcast about the Patriots way has always been, Bill Belichick is very cutthroat. He will cut you for no rhyme or reason just because he feels like you can't play. And ever since the benching occurred of Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl, there's been some type of tension between the guys in the locker room and what's going on between the coaching staff, the front office, and the players. Even Danny Amendola in a recent interview said that players were questioning, like, why is Malcolm Butler sitting? Did this cost us a Super Bowl? So I think this might be the beginning of the end of the Patriots way and the Patriots dynasty.
Again, he's 41 years old. It's like, how much more can he keep this up?
And then you lost your starting left tackle. And then your right tackle who started in the Super Bowl, Cameron Fleming, went and signed with the Dallas Cowboys. So everything's in limbo right now for the New England Patriots.
And maybe, this bullshit report, maybe age is kind of catching up to Tom Brady finally this offseason. But again, this is let's put this let's officially stamp this as the worst report in ESPN history because it told you absolutely nothing and was basically clickbait.
But do you think there's fire? Do you think the reports that we've heard, I would say since the start of the new year, that there is beef in New England, do you think that this might be the beginning of the end? We talked about this last week. Yes, I think there's cracks in the foundation, and I'm giddy as can be the idea of this finally imploding and being done with. But for this report, hand wave.
Massive hand wave. This is just a case of Schefter got a source of his to say something. It's Tom Brady. He went to his boss to saying so and so said this about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think if you put him with a lie detector test or under a lamp, he would say that I definitely didn't want to really run this because there's not really much to it. But again, it's Tom Brady, it's ESPN, the star power. They're going to run with it no matter what. So
that source might have been Tom Brady himself. Who knows?
I'm not going to go that far, but yeah, you guys could have sat on that and waited for more information. Exactly. You didn't need to put that out to the world. All right, sticking with football, are Saquon Barkley's reps trying to steer him clear of the Cleveland Browns? Going to judge whether that's fair or foul. So Barkley's handlers reportedly do not want the top running back and maybe the best player in the draft to go to the Browns with the number 1 overall selection. The Penn State running back is maybe being implored behind the scenes to demand that the Browns not draft him, a la what we saw Eli Manning do back in the day when the Chargers were going to say they're going to draft him, and obviously Eli orchestrated a move to the Giants. Right. So in a Sports Illustrated story that came out the other day, Ben Baskin reported this about Rock Nation Sports, which represents Barkley. And he wrote, they don't want him in Cleveland. They want him to go second to the Giants and play in the media capital of the world. That's where you can become the face of the league. His manager even implored him to pull an Eli Manning and demand that the Browns not draft him. Barkley never considered the option. Sure, he likes the idea of being back in the city of his birth, even playing for the Jets, the team he grew up rooting for. And of course, he's heard countless people tell him that if he ends up in Cleveland, his career will be ruined. Barkley's agent came out and denied the report. Yeah. Rock Nation was, again, emphatic, even though they're supposedly the ones who were trying to steer him clear of it. They're emphatic, saying that we never said that and don't believe that. And his agent, again, responded to Cleveland.com saying, quote, I can say on behalf of our entire team that we would be thrilled for Saquon to go to whichever team drafts him. We know he will be a resounding success for any team fortunate enough to select him. All right, so we're going to see what happens in a couple weeks when the draft finally happens. Probably going to go to the Giants at number 2 because that seems to be what every indication is. But fair or foul for a player to kind of dictate where he goes in the NFL draft?
If contextually, I think it's fair for a player to try and dictate where he wants to go work and where he feels like the best fit is for him in his career and his profession. However, I think Cleveland will be the best spot for Saquon Barkley, considering what their offense is right now. You have arguably one of the most talented wide receiver cores in the league with Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Corey Coleman, and you have David Njoku at tight end position. So they can't load the box because you have too many talented receivers on the outside. You have Tyrod Taylor, who's a capable quarterback, but if you go to New York, you got Odell Beckham on the outside, you got Eli, and that's pretty much, you got you and I playing for the offensive line for the New York
except
Giants.
for Nate Solder.
You know what I'm saying? You gave big money to him, but you also have Eric Flowers. There's speculation that Dez could end up.
I think there's a little more talent than Johnson you're giving him credit for. No Cowboys bias right now.
No Cowboys bias.
Okay.
But did you see them play last year?
I caught a few games, yes.
Yeah, okay,
I know the record. There's a reason they're drafting second.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's also a reason the Browns are drafting second. First.
First
and fourth.
And fourth,
yes.
Right? So it's obvious that Cleveland has been one of the bottom tier franchises in all of sports, not just the NFL. But I think the big market thing, that doesn't really fly in the NFL. We see a lot of guys that are in small markets and are still the faces of the league. Green Bay is not necessarily this metropolis, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the top faces in the league.
So, fair or foul?
I go, for how you phrased it, I go fair. I'm all for a person choosing where they want to go and their best fit to succeed. Again,
for the fact that the NFL spits and chews you out for the most part, exactly. I mean, do whatever you possibly can to get in a position that's going to make you be the most successful. So I'm going to call fair here. If you can orchestrate behind the scenes, getting to a place that's going to make you most successful and be a place where you feel that you have the best chance to have a great long career, then do what you got to do. Also, we love pettiness. So
course,
the more pettiness, the better. The one thing I will call maybe a slight scent of bullshit here. Okay. If you look at the Rock Nation roster of athletes, for the most part, those guys are in the bigger markets.
1,000%.
Now, that being said, they do represent two people from Cleveland. Yeah. The Cavaliers' Jeff Green and the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Mr. Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson.
So, for the most part, if you look at that roster of guys, they're going to be in New York, the other bigger markets. Yeah. There's some guys in the smaller markets, but they do have a couple Cleveland guys. So,
but here's the thing. Also, traditionally, when we see players try to pick the team that they want to go to, most notably you got Eli Manning, you have John Elway. The only time we've seen a skill position player pull this was Bo Jackson, but he had baseball to fall back on. So I'm not sure that Saquon Barkley could try.
That's a good point. I actually can't even think of a skill position guy trying to really pull this. It's really tough to justify this.
Yeah, I think the last one was Bo Jackson. Did not want to go to Tampa Bay. He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna go play baseball," and Al Davis went.
Until the hip gave out, it was working out well.
Exactly. Another person that kind of steered his way and chose another team for just today's episode is this guy right here, Mr. Gilbert Arenas. But Cap, I think we held it down. You know?
Yeah, we're doing our thing. Yeah.
We did our thing. All right. For Adam Caparell, I'm Pierce Simpson, and This is Gilbert Arenas. We'll see you next week. This is Out of Bounds.
No, I didn't see the story. But no, let's stop for a second. Let's give you props for properly calling out the Instagram post that he put out today in response to the segment from the other day.
I know how Gilbert thinks. You know what I'm saying? It's like he called me a bad point guard, but I'm a great point guard because I know where he's going to be. So I just find him.
Yes, but when we got done with the episode,
I said,
you were like, "Watch, this is going to be his next post."
And
lo and behold,
I knew what he was going to post, who he was going to tag, and how he was going to describe the caption. So it's like a sixth sense.
You're like the Gilbert Arenas whisperer.
Pretty much.